I was moved to speak on this bill because I believe that it is indeed important for us to protect one of our more vulnerable sectors, agriculture. And as somebody seeking to represent a seat that is largely rural and where a sizable chunk of the local economy depends on agriculture, I had to rise to express my support for the introduction of these penalties because, Mr. President, farmers in Northwest St. Anne, and I can even go as far as to say Southwest St. Anne, they're some of the most hardworking Jamaicans. And they're self-sufficient and they're deeply committed to doing their part to ensure that they feed this country. And I want to take some time to salute them and the work that they do to put food on our tables. But Mr. President, one of the biggest nightmares for my farmers is when they wake up in the morning and they see that all that they have planted has been stolen. And I've had to sit and listen
that is one of
to big men cry because their livestock has been taken and their produce has been digged up. And so I want us here to understand the gravity. And I heard Senator speak about the mental health implications of this. I want us to understand the gravity and the damage that it does to individuals and to families when their hard work has been stolen from them in the dead of the night. And so I want us to contextualize praedial larceny not as petty theft, but at this point it is organized, it is destructive, and it is deeply demoralizing for farmers who go out from the early morning to ensure that they can provide for their families and provide for this country. And let's be clear that this is not just a rural issue. It's a national issue. Because when these thieves, these crooks, prey on our farmers, they're not just stealing produce, but they're threatening food security, they're threatening livelihoods, they're threatening Jamaica's economic independence. And Mr. President, I want to allude to our growing dependence on imports. Because this situation calls into sharp focus an urgent need for us to fortify our agricultural sector and encourage more Jamaicans to invest, to expand their farms, and to innovate in agriculture. It is important at this point, as a nation seeking growth, that we ensure that we protect our farmers and we make agriculture a safe and lucrative business for Jamaicans. Now, we on this side, we have said that we wish to reduce the food import bill by 25% because we believe that we have to boost local production. And to boost local production, Mr. President, we have to ensure that we protect those who are in the industry. And so, yes, the penalties are one measure, but we have to go further than that, I believe, and provide some more support to our farmers so that they can invest in increased security for their farms. And that is something that I believe will help to stem the tide of praedial larceny. We on this side, we have also spoken about investment in agriculture in terms of, as Senator Brown mentioned, the Agricultural Development Fund, which will provide the much needed support to our farmers and would afford them greater protection from disasters, from loss of property, as well as provide the stimulus for the enhanced use of technology in agriculture, which we so desperately need to see more of. But Mr. President, legislation is good, but it is not enough. It is not enough. And enforcement and implementation is often where we fall down. And I'm craving, I'm hoping, as somebody who interacts with a lot of farmers, to see more real investment and resources being provided to our small farmers. Farmers need to know that they're not alone in what they're doing. And so, Mr. President, RADA is there as an organization to assist our farmers. But we need to see more. We need to see more support for our farmers coming out of RADA. And we spoke earlier about the cost of corruption in agriculture. And I know that we don't want to touch it, but it is a real matter. Because when there are implications of fertilizer not being given to those who need it most, but being sold, that is a dangerous road to go down. And whether or not,
then on a point of order once more, Mr. President, yes, lies bite. There was the Auditor General's report did not allege any corruption, and it did not, what it said expressly was that they were concerned that they did not have the beneficiary list in all of the bags, and they were provided. There is, Mr. President, no allegation of corruption comprised in the Auditor General's report, and any attempt to try to have those things embedded in Hansard or that fertilizer was sold. They have been responded, so I will check on that as well. But you guys are very, I just have to say, Mr. President, that these utterances that are being made demonstrate the utmost irresponsible and disregard for the importance of the relationships between Jamaica and the countries who have been providing such strong support for our farmers, which they have felt and has increased their productivity undeniably and indisputably.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. It seems like the minister is more concerned about relationships than the farmers who need these resources. It is in the report. Check it out. It's a Google away. It's a Google away. Read the report.
All right.
Mr. President, I was on the point of corruption, where resources are directed away from the people who need it most. I can talk for my farmers in Muros who after the hurricane were supposed to get fertilizer, and them say no PNP farmer now get it. That is corruption. When we talk about agriculture, listen, you can't tell me the experience, and it's me walk and talk with them. Mr. President, we must recognize in this country,
Such shame, the woman not even know say. It was it was the finding that the fertilizer them were sold.
The standing order, that is correct, sir.
And Gabriella, Morris?
I'm making a point of order.
What's the point of order?
That the standing order requires that the speaker be heard in silence. The minister,
All right, Senator
the minister and government leader
Senator Brown
has been interrupting her.
Yeah, Senator
so I'm
Brown.
asking that she be allowed to conclude her speech in silence. Consistent
All right, thank
standing
you.
order.
Thank you, Senator Brown. I hope you take your own messaging. All right.
Mr. President,
Continue, Senator
thank you,
Morris.
thank you. I want to make my point very clear, absolutely clear, right? This is not something that I am making up. It is the reality. I spoke of the report, and it is there for all to see, right? I spoke about what is happening in our communities with the distribution of resources to our farmers. And it is something that we need to take stock of if we want to see worthwhile investment in agriculture. That is the point. In terms of expanding and growing the industry, one of the things that I hope to see, and I am passionate about as well, is more for young people entering into the agricultural sector and becoming a part of being producers and not just consumers. Mr. President, I know that there are programs under 4-H. I do, and I accept that. The 4-H has long been a champion for agriculture and for youth in agriculture. But what I want to see is further expansion of that. I meet upon I encounter so many young people who have said that they are struggling to find land. They have the interest, they have the skills, they have the ability, but they want land. And so one of the things that the PNP has committed to doing once we become government is ensuring that we prioritize land for agriculture. Because this is how, Mr. President, we are going to see growth. Not the promised 5 in 4, but real growth. As I close, Mr. President, I want to express the support, or my support, our support, for our farmers who continue despite the challenges. And I want to tell them that help is on the way. Because while we see that there are some people who want to be the face of food, we are here to ensure that real change takes place in the agricultural sector. Because we believe in agriculture. We have seen the stories, and I've said since I came into this parliament, that side would rather to bury their heads in the sand and to out the little fire around them while the rest of the country is burning down. Because we are seeing our farmers talking about undercutting in the price of onions. And we have a responsibility to ensure that we protect our local farmers. We have the responsibility to ensure that we bring down imports. And while that is continuing, I am not satisfied. But I look forward, under the next administration, to having a government who does not only give lip service to agriculture, but is ready to make real, meaningful change. May it please you, Mr. President.